In the vast expanse of human consciousness, the quest to understand the true nature of the self is more than an intellectual pursuit. It is a deeply intimate and timeless longing woven into the fabric of our existence. Across cultures and eras, seekers have turned to neuroscience, philosophy, and spirituality in their search for answers, only to encounter a profound paradox. The restless chatter of the mind coexists with the silent, immutable presence of the observer within. Modern neuroscience, in its relentless exploration, has illuminated the complex architecture of the self, revealing it not as a singular, fixed entity, but as an intricate masterpiece of neural processes. V.S. Ramachandran, in The Telltale Brain, paints a fascinating picture of how the self is not confined to a single location in the brain, but rather emerges as a dynamic narrative, woven through the interplay of cognition, memory, and perception. This perspective is both humbling and liberating. Our sense of self is not a rigid construct, but a fluid, ever-changing phenomenon. Similarly, Antonio Damasio, in The Feeling of What Happens, beautifully articulates how consciousness blossoms from the delicate dance between neural activity and the body's felt experiences, giving rise to the ever-unfolding story of the self. It invites us to embrace the mystery, to witness the transient dance of thoughts and emotions, and perhaps, in the stillness between them, to touch the eternal presence that has been observing all along. Within the theater of our minds, the inner commentator takes center stage, a relentless narrator that weaves the story of our lives, whispering its interpretations into our awareness. It is both companion and critic, guide and illusionist, shaping our perceptions in ways we often fail to recognize. This voice operates in 3 distinct modes, each with its own subtle influence. In narrator mode, it constructs a cohesive story of who we are, stitching together memories and present experiences to create a sense of continuity, an identity we cling to as if it were unchanging. In critic mode, it turns into a relentless judge, scrutinizing our every move, magnifying flaws, and sowing seeds of doubt. And then, in hype mode, it shifts, fueling grand aspirations and celebrating victories, sometimes lifting us to euphoric heights, other times setting us up for disillusionment. Like a sports commentator giving a constant play-by-play, this voice often drowns out the raw, unfiltered experience of life itself. It thrives on defining us, yet these definitions are as fluid as passing clouds, ever-changing, never fixed. The greatest illusion it perpetuates is its supposed impartiality, masquerading as the observer, when in truth, it is merely another layer of thought. The true observer, silent and unwavering, exists beyond the chatter, patiently waiting for us to notice the stillness beneath the noise. Most people consider this inner commentator as their true self, and this is a big mistake. Beyond the ceaseless chatter of the inner commentator lies something profoundly different: the observer, a silent and unwavering presence that watches without judgment, without attachment. It does not interfere, nor does it seek to define or narrate. It simply is, a pure, formless awareness, untouched by the turbulence of thoughts and emotions. Imagine the vast sky stretching endlessly above. The inner commentator is like the weather, sometimes stormy, sometimes clear, always shifting, always transient. Thoughts pass like drifting clouds, emotions surge like summer storms, yet through it all, the sky remains untouched, expansive, unchanging, and ever-present. So too is the observer, the essence of consciousness that remains steady amid the fluctuations of the mind. Recognizing this distinction is not merely an intellectual understanding, it is a gateway to profound inner stillness. Spiritual traditions across the world point to this realization as the key to true freedom, disidentifying from the fleeting content of the mind and resting in the timeless presence of pure awareness. In this space, beyond thought and commentary, we find a deeper truth, one that has been with us all along, patiently waiting to be seen. The Bhagavad Gita calls it the eternal witness. Eckhart Tolle refers to it as conscious presence. It is the observer, silent, unshaken, ever watchful. Unlike the inner commentator, which narrates, judges, and reacts, the observer does nothing but see. It does not think, it does not interfere, and yet it holds the entirety of your experience within its boundless awareness. The observer even perceives the inner commentator, the voice that defines, interprets, and projects, but it does not engage because it knows that none of it is truly you. The commentator is a construct born of conditioning, shaped by past experiences, fears, and societal influences. It recycles old narratives, painting your present and future with the brushstrokes of the past. Even when refined, when trained to be kinder, more positive, it remains only a polished surface. But the depths of your being lie beyond that surface. True self-awareness does not come from merely improving the voice in your head. It comes from recognizing that you are not the voice at all. To know the observer, to rest in its presence, is to touch something infinite, something untouched by time, beyond thought, beyond identity. It is here, always. All that remains is for you to turn inward and see. A profound realization arises when you deeply connect with the observer. It is not a private, individual phenomenon, but a universal presence. The same silent awareness that watches your thoughts is watching mine, your neighbors, and every living being's. The mind's content differs. The thoughts, emotions, and life stories vary endlessly, but the pure witnessing consciousness remains the same, untouched and unchanging. This truth echoes the wisdom of the Upanishads, where the Atman, the universal self, is described as the same essence residing in all beings. Beneath the surface-level diversity of our identities and experiences, there is a deeper unity, an indivisible oneness. Consciousness is not yours or mine, it simply is, experiencing itself through the infinite expressions of life. To recognize this is to glimpse something sacred, the realization that beyond the noise of the personal self, we are all woven into the same vast, eternal presence. Reflect on your own life's journey. Your body has changed, growing from childhood to adulthood. Your beliefs have evolved, shaped by experience and understanding. Your preferences, thoughts, and even your sense of identity have transformed over time. Yet through all these shifts, something within you has remained untouched, the silent awareness that has been present through it all. The you who marveled at the world as a child is the same you watching this video now. Not in form, not in thought, but in presence. This unchanging witness, the observer, has never aged, never altered, never come and gone. It has simply watched, silently aware of every experience that has passed through you. This realization echoes the wisdom of Advaita Vedanta, which speaks of the true self as eternal, beyond the fleeting nature of the body and mind. To recognize this is to step beyond the illusion of impermanence, to see that you are not the ever-changing waves of experience, but the vast, still ocean beneath them. And in this recognition, there is freedom. Freedom from the fleeting, from the false identifications, and from the illusion that you are anything less than infinite awareness itself. The observer is not reserved for monks, mystics, or meditators. It is for anyone who wishes to unlock the full depth of being human. It is already present within you, silently witnessing every moment. The key is to make it your default mode. At first, noticing the observer feels unfamiliar, like learning a new skill. But the more you observe, the more effortless it becomes. Over time, thoughts lose their grip on you. They become like the background chatter in a busy coffee shop, always there, but no longer commanding your full attention. Most thoughts, like certain people, demand the spotlight without offering anything meaningful. But when you shift your identification to the observer, you see them for what they are, passing noise, not the essence of who you are. To truly rest in the observer, you must find the space of no mind, the gaps between thoughts where awareness exists in its purest form. It is in this stillness that something profound unfolds, a deep, unshakable presence beyond words, beyond concepts. This is where the true magic of existence reveals itself. The concept of the observer is not limited to esoteric spirituality. It has been recognized by some of the greatest minds in history. Albert Einstein pondered the mysterious nature of reality. Quantum physicists explored the observer effect, and ancient mystics spoke of the witness consciousness, all pointing to the same fundamental truth. There is an awareness beyond thought, silently perceiving all that arises. Jiří Vacek, a contemporary spiritual teacher, emphasizes the practice of self-inquiry as a direct path to realizing the observer as our true nature. He teaches that by withdrawing attention from the objects of perception, thoughts, emotions, and external phenomena, and turning it toward the perceiver itself, we can uncover our essence as pure consciousness. This shift dissolves identification with the transient and opens the doorway to liberation, freeing us from suffering and the cycle of rebirth. The recognition of the observer is not a distant or abstract pursuit. It is an ever-present reality waiting to be noticed. Whether through science, philosophy, or spiritual practice, the realization remains the same. The observer is who you have always been, untouched by the passing waves of experiences.